Hello, my beautiful. Okay, so let's make some cake crumb cotton. Okay, in place of ganache, I always use my crumb coats in place of ganache. So I'm doing this video from the scratch so you can see how to crumb coat your cake and ice them if you want to ice or use the fondant pattern. So there are some crumb coats. The crumb coats I actually get from the top layers of my cake. I just got them to level up. So that leveled up cake, you mash them with your hands to form like a breadcrumbs. There, that was what you saw initially. Then I'm going to go in and add my buttercream to it. Okay, there's another method you can do. If you had your buttercream, if you want your crumb coat to be a little bit lighter, you can add some whipped cream to it or some milk, okay? But this one, the butter is a little bit light, so it suits perfectly to the cake crumbs there. So now I'm going to make sure my cakes is well leveled before I go in to start adding the crumb coats to this cake. So it's well leveled right now, so you can see. So now let's start patching up our cake. You know, we bakers, we are like bricklayers. We are just artists, we are bricklayers, we are architectures and all that. So like someone said, you saw me with the plum thing, and you said, what are you doing with the plum? Are you a bear, what's the word, a bricklayer or something like that? Yeah. So we bakers, we construct, we sculpture, with all sorts of stuff like that. So give it up for all bakers around the world, okay? Because it's not easy. Okay, so there our crumb coat is beautifully ready, and we're using it, as you can see, to fill up the patch up our cakes just like that. It's really amazing making this beautiful crumb coat cake method. So after filling and patching it up, you can go in with your smooth and make sure it's smooth. You can choose to use a spatula first, or just going straight away with your cake smoother, or whichever you're using there. So have that transparent cake smoother and make sure I use it to smoothen the body of the cake. You can see I didn't add a crumb coat to the top of this cake. Why I didn't do that is this, because once you want to actually put a tier of cake on top of your cake, you don't want that, you can choose to, it's optional, and still go ahead with normal buttercream to cover up the top. But if you're doing a tier cake, I would advise you don't put a crumb coat on top. You can just go in with just your buttercream to make sure it's well leveled. You know, butter could be well leveled compared to when you're using crumbs and all that, so that the crumbs don't pop out. Depends on how smooth your crumb coat is. Okay, so for me not to have that issue, so I normally just go in with the buttercream on top my cake to make it more smooth and fine. That's why you can see I had just the buttercream on top that. But trust me, you can use your crumb coat as well, but make sure your crumb coat is not with lumps, it's smooth. Okay, then you are good to go. And if you're still watching this time, I said I love you. Bye.